Welcome to First and Now, your weekly look inside the Lions Den, presented by Coors Light, the official beer and chill choice of the BC Lions. Get ready for highlights, exclusive interviews, and a preview of this week's big game. Now, here are your hosts, Nick Kowalski, Bob Marjanovic, and Matt Baker.
Ball comes loose! Ball comes loose! The Lions have recovered! Yes! The Lions have recovered! Meyer with the hold, White with the kick. Kick is up. Money, baby! Sean Money White has just kicked a field goal to give the Lions a come-from-behind 41-38 victory at Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton.
First and Now is the official BC Lions podcast and radio show. We're on 730 CKNW, and it's also presented by World Vision Canada. Join the BC Lions at the Walk for Water event on October 5th at McLeod Stadium in Langley. Find out how you could win a 2026 road trip for two with the team by participating. Visit bclions.com/6K for details. It is Matt Baker. It is Nick Kowalski. Bob Marjanovic getting a well-deserved week off. Moj is on assignment. We'll talk about that in just a second. Nick, how you doing, by the way?
Excellent.
Good.
What a win.
Yes. Absolutely, and we should mention we're live on location at Boston Pizza Central City. Our good pal Yash holding court here as always. Excellent spot. Great place to watch the game. Maybe have a pre-game meal and a beverage if you're on your way to the game coming up on Saturday. But I'll tell you what, I love listening to that call on the intro. The fumble forced by Christophe Beaulieu, and of course the money, as they call it. Winning field goal in overtime. The BC Lions getting a much-needed win in Hamilton in overtime, and was doing some family time on the weekend, Nick, and it was my father-in-law saying about how he listened to the game on the radio, and he says, yeah, you got to go back and listen to that fumble call. Moj and Julio were very excited, and I was glad to hear it there.
One of the even better parts about that call, and if you watched our game recap, I purposely included this. Moj, that was his one request. He's like, you have to include this part of audio, and I obviously dug it up for him. But when they're doing the coin toss and the Lions elect to go on defense first, Moj says, he's like, oh, a turnover would be great right now. And lo and behold, Christophe Beaulieu with that peanut punch and Dwayne Hendricks, the hustle play to get it back. And that set up pretty much an automatic win once you have Sean White out there.
Yeah, it's the beauty of the format, because if the defense scores, it's game over. If the defense gets a turnover, like you say, 1 point, a Rouge wins it. And we're going to recap the game in just a second. But we'll talk about Moj here again for a couple of minutes. So
yeah.
You wanted me to tell the story. It's pretty funny. So I get a text from Moj this morning. He's in Mexico. We can say it. He's on assignment in Mexico. Well-deserved vacation. Moj texted me just before practice, I want to say, at about 10:30 in the morning, asking for a player's number, Thibaut Debaye. So I give it to him. And then Moj proceeds to text me again, but he thinks he's texting Thibaut. So I guess, first I get that Thibaut with a bunch of exclamation points on the end. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? I just ran into so-and-so from Edmonton who wanted to say hi to you. And I'm like, hey, boss, you're still texting me, not the number you were seeking. So, but you had a funny story about that.
Well, you were saying maybe Moj has been having a couple of drinks. He's out in Mexico in the resort. But
a couple of mimosas in the morning. Why not?
I've been there in probably a worse spot too. To make this a shorter story, we were planning a vacation down somewhere, and we had a group chat with everybody, and there was kind of people that we weren't really friends with. It was a high school group, and we were deciding between going into a big Airbnb kind of mansion style with everybody, or just getting our own hotel rooms. And I was team mansion or team Airbnb,
of course.
And but some people weren't. So I thought I was texting a side group chat with a bunch of guys being like, oh, this one person, they're not even part of this group. Why do they get to decide? Lo and behold, I was texting the full group chat. So they saw that message and made it really awkward. But at least Moj didn't make things awkward. Or didn't say anything bad about you.
Not at all. And you got to be careful this day and age.
Yep.
We're in multiple WhatsApp chats, multiple Slack, texting, iMessage, whatever. So
yeah, but back to the good part. Let's get back to this Hamilton win.
Let's get this back on the rails. First off, as mentioned, Boston Pizza Central City. We've got some bingo games going on. We might have some tickets to give away for anyone in attendance. Just maybe. Emmanuel Arceneaux in town, going to join us in about 10 minutes' time. The Manny Show. He's decked out in his jersey. We'll find out why Manny's up here. Go down memory lane, talk football with number 84, third all-time on the BC Lions receiving list behind two guys named G. Roy Simon and Jim Young. Not bad company, but to intro it off here, and we'll talk more about Saturday, our show and shine game, the Montreal Alouettes in town. Plenty going on. Duane Vienneau, our president, will stop by to talk about some of the exciting activities planned. It's a new game theme. Always love breaking into a new game theme. Always. But yeah, an emotional clutch 41-38 overtime win in Hamilton. And I don't always love the hot takes, Nick, but is it an overstatement to suggest that maybe could have saved this team's season? I wouldn't think that's too ridiculous to state.
No, 3-6, and you're suddenly multiple games back in the West Division of the the Winnipegs and the Calgary. Now they had that big game on Saturday night, obviously, but that was huge. And to me, it was, at least from the leadership of guys like Nathan Rourke and James Butler, it was kind of a refusal to lose, right? A 3rd and 12, and nope, he hit a McInnes on a bender route. James Butler goes off for 120 yards or 150 total yards and 2 touchdowns, right? And that ring a bell too. James Butler returning to his old team and scoring 2 touchdowns.
240 from scrimmage is what he had. Yeah,
exactly. So James Butler definitely took that with vengeance, and it was huge, right? And then Buck Pierce said in the locker room after that he's proud of this team's resiliency and the growth they're having and not giving up in those hard moments, because it was definitely reminiscence of the Week 8 loss, but the team finds a way. The clutch turnover that we talked about off the top with Christophe Beaulieu. And I think a lost part of that play too is Dwayne Hendricks. If he's not there, Tim White probably just falls in that ball and it's second down, right, or whatever it was.
Second and manageable for sure, right?
But that's something that this team preaches, and it was a president that was set in training camp where it's a hustle play, right? All 12 guys have to run to the ball of your play, and that's a defensive tackle running pretty much to the sideline in pursuit, and ultimately, it's probably a game-winning play when it boils down to it.
Yeah, and I want to backtrack a little bit, talking about some of the big plays in the game. The fumble, obviously. The 3rd and 12, Nathan Rourke to Justin McInnes. That's a game saver, right? Leads to the second Butler touchdown. Let's go back to the end of the first half. You remember, that offense had nothing going.
The defense was pitching a shutout.
They were, but they were backed up at their own 10. I think
the Lions offense.
I'm talking about the Lions offense until the big play to Aiden Eberhardt with, 32 seconds left, whatever it was.
Yeah, a little go ball.
Set up the Javon Cotoy touchdown. And it's funny because, again, I've probably said it before, but in my role, one of the things I do, I help TSN arrange their halftime interview, and the team that's losing does it coming out for the start of the half. The team that's winning does it before they go off. So talking to Matthew Shinetti from the network over who we were going to get, and then all of a sudden Aiden makes that catch. Okay, we might take the lead here and be doing this interview first. And then lo and behold, Javon Cotoy emerged as the candidate, and he did shout out World Vision on his interview. Did you catch that? World Vision Canada. So
great ambassador.
But anyway, this is a long-winded way that I'm saying that Eberhardt catch. I think it was a 57-yarder. That really got the ball rolling, and as we saw, it carried over into the second half. It turned into a good old-fashioned back-and-forth shootout.
Yeah, 36 points in the third quarter alone. So that got you way over the total for whatever it was, and back into the 70-point range like these teams did in Week 8. The Butler play, though, I can talk a little X's and O's, right? I was looking at some All-24 film here.
You were a coach at one point, yeah.
A little high school ball.
Yeah.
But so typically when a running back usually comes out of the backfield, right, to catch a pass, and that's I know Moj, I'd edited this out, not gonna lie, but Moj was like, Butler came out of the backfield. Butler did not come out of the backfield. He was the fourth receiver.
He was lined up.
It was a quad set to the field, and usually when you put the running back on the far receiver side, it's usually trying to get a zone or a man tail, right, to see if the linebacker will kind of follow him. The corner and Jonathan Moxey stays with them. So Nathan Rourke, I think, what happened there is Aiden Eberhardt and James Butler, the two outside guys, they run go routes, and Jonathan Moxey's trying to split. He takes the inside guy, who's Eberhardt, which is what you're supposed to do as a DB. And Nathan's probably reading those guys, right? And he has to put that ball on the very outside on the sideline because Moxey's going to get there, and he did. And it's James Butler making a toe tap catch with pretty much the game on the line, right? At the time, I thought that was going to be the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
But just a remarkable play. And And another thing, too, is Cotoy was running a little out route on that play, and the Ticats jumped that. And you don't think that's from, history or tape, because earlier in the half, Cotoy catches that touchdown. The Montreal game, when Nathan's in that quick spot, he has to throw a ball to Cotoy at the end, right? So that's a tendency where, maybe, you show that tendency and you think you know what the defense knows, and then you air it out deep, and that's how you get the game-winning touchdown at the time. So that was a really cool play, and I think that's what you're seeing with Buck Pierce, Nathan Rourke. There's a lot of chatter about it this week, how they're developing, getting to know each other, getting to know what they like, and that was an awesome play call. On top of that 3rd and 12 too, right, where it's a high-pressure situation, and they still get it done. Yeah,
and talking to Nathan a little bit about the McInnes 3rd and 12, so Justin, in fact, was the first read on that play.
On that bender route,
You just say it took him a little extra longer to get to the spot because Hamilton dropped a couple guys back into coverage. And it's just another example of how 12 is good at being patient, processing, seeing the field, seeing what the defense has given him. And they're just going to keep getting better at this rate. 4-5 at the break. And you have to. That's what it is now. The early season, of course, the team dug itself a bit of a hole, but there's no telling. A lot left to be settled here in this Western Division, with a lot of these teams playing each other. We'll talk more about the visit from Montreal again Saturday. It's our show and shine game presented by Lordco Auto Parts. But we have a couple of minutes before we'll bring in Emmanuel Arceneaux. We're live here at Central City Boston Pizza. Halfway through, what are some of your snapshots, Nick? A couple of things that you've got your eye on.
We were talking about this last week in our serve facility, but the balance and the depth of this receiving core right now is really fascinating to me, because Keon Hatcher has established himself, I think, as the number one threat this year, right? He's on pace for nearly 1,500 yards, kind of that 2023 Keon Hatcher that we saw, right? We took a year to recover from that Achilles injury. Justin McInnes is still on a 1,000-yard pace. I know there's some chatter out there about, he's not the same player after he got his contract, but he's still on a 1,000-yard pace. Aiden Eberhardt's just under a 1,000-yard pace. Stanley Berryhill's just under a 1,000-yard pace. And then Javon Cotoy right now is on an 800-yard pace. So I think you might have to ask Steve Daniel right now if 5 receivers on a single team have ever got to 800 yards in a season. Because we were talking before, it was a big deal in, I think it was 2016 when the Red Blacks had 4 guys get 1,000. Never mind 5 to get 800. I think that's just depth that's unheard of in the CFL. So that's one thing right now that I'm really keeping my eye on as the second half of the season rolls around.
One thing I've been impressed with has been the offensive line, considering what they've dealt with injury-wise. Probably one of the biggest acquisitions as far as this team goes was a trade, not a signing. It's rare, but Dijon Allen, of course, third game of the year, goes down with the tricep injury, and he's looking to get back here before all's said and done. But so Chris Slugger filling in there at right tackle. Michael Couture's been injured, and Andrew Pearson, the guy who always seems to earn himself back into the starting lineup, rightfully so. This offensive line, despite injuries to 2 key starters for a longer term here in the first half, they've allowed a league low in sacks. At least it was 7 going into the Hamilton game. And, they're allowing James Butler to go at his pace. Again, over 200 from scrimmage. That's the second time this season he's had over 200 from scrimmage. The first was in Edmonton when he had most of it on the ground. 171, I think it was. So, it's a credit to the personnel and new offensive line coach Paul Charbonneau. Sharbs, as we like to call him. That's been a big storyline for me.
The Lions are tied for the league leader now in sacks allowed with 9, and they have
they
have that extra game played with 9. So that's
true.
It's an awesome story. And even a guy like David Foucault was brought in as depth and obviously went down in the preseason. So they've had to deal with their fair share of injuries, but it's been no problem. And I do think it helps when you have a guy like James Butler running guys over. Whenever he gets contacted, first point of contact, it never brings a guy like James Butler down. And we were looking at this number too. The Lions' single season rushing record is 1,510 yards by Joe Smith in 2007.
Yeah.
James Butler's on pace for over 1,400. The Lions have only ever had a 1,400-yard rusher twice in history. So James Butler right now is on pace for one of the best seasons ever by a BC Lions running back. And to take this a step further, Brady Oliveira last year, the MOP, had under 1,400 rushing yards and only 4 touchdowns. James Butler already has 6 touchdowns, and he's on pace to go way over that total. So it's obviously too early for award talk. We are seeing a little bit of it out there, though, for early candidates. And James Butler, his name is in the ring right now, in my opinion.
Yep. CFL's leader, 704 on the ground, 6 touchdowns, as you say, trailing only Dedrick Mills of Calgary, who's got 7. First and Now is presented in part by Hullo Ferries, proud island transportation partner of the BC Lions. Go easy, go Hullo. We'll be back at Boston Pizza Central City in just a couple minutes. Emmanuel Arceneaux to join us live on location. First and Now on 730 CKNW.
You're listening to more of First and Now, presented by Coors Light. Once again, here are Nick Kowalski, Bob Marjanovic, and Matt Baker.
Lulay, end zone, touchdown, game winner, Manny Arceneaux.
There you go, music to a lot of Lions fans' ears there for, pretty much what, 9-season stretch? Well, there was a couple NFL seasons in there, right? So 29 to 19, but a couple in the, pretty much 8-9 years as a Lion.
Yeah.
Awesome. Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, the Moj on assignment is not with us, but we're at Central City Boston Pizza. Yash, shout out to him and the excellent staff here. Pretty good turnout tonight. Some familiar faces, some new faces, and a man who needs no introduction here. Emmanuel Arceneaux back in town. First off, explain why you're back in town this week, sir.
I'm in town for my speed and agility camp with Impact Hockey Development, and we're going into our 4th year dry land training out in the Langley area and just looking to continue growing it.
Sound like you've been doing some yelling.
Man, a lot of coaching, man, young kids.
Yeah. How is this something you've been doing for a while? You were telling us that in your later playing years, you did it around your team's bye week those last couple of years in Edmonton. Coaching, is that something that you always figured you'd maybe transition into?
Yeah, kind of, sort of, but the BC Lions really kind of catapulted this little career for me. It started with punt, pass, kick, read, write, and roar, being out in the community doing things. And I figured, man, I have a gift in this, so why not do this post-career? So every off-season, during those 6 months off, I would get out in the community, start training kids, start doing things and building those relationships. So I was working on that plan B while in my prime of my plan A, playing football.
What is the long-term goal with this, Manny? Is it like to get into kind of higher-rank coaching, or what's your long-term goal with this?
Right now, being that I have the 3 littles, is kind of coaching high school, running my own performance. But being able to coach at the pro level is in the back of my mind, hopefully coming up to Canada at some point, being able to work with receivers and do those things and have like a player development type role.
Yeah. Because where are you making your home right now in off-season?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, yeah. So obviously a hotbed for high school football, level football, right? And you said that's starting up soon, right?
It started now, actually. So Legacy Christian is right in fall camp. So I'm up in Canada now doing my camps that was already pre-planned. So once I get back, it's straight to it, starting Saturday.
Yeah. Are you always like the Friday Night Lights in Texas? That's you checking those out, those high school games right now? And what's that like?
It's a big deal. I'm right down the street from Gunner High School. They won the last 4. Well, they done won 4 state championships. Then you got like big 6A schools. One school was just built behind me, but you got the Duncanvilles, the Sotos, the Alitos, the stuff you see on TV. It's really like that in Texas. They big on high school football.
It's funny, I told you I just finished watching Landman.
Yeah, episode 1.
And the, what do they call it? The Easter egg or the connection? Remember how Billy Bob Thornton was the head coach of Permian in Friday Night Lights? And isn't it the daughter's boyfriend in that show plays for Permian? That was kind of a funny thing. But, you've been in Texas for a while. And it's funny, I remember one of your last years here, you were doing one of those punt, pass, and kick deals at Tom Binney Park in Surrey, and your oldest boy, Deuce. He was I kid you not, you had him in the stroller and you were throwing kids passes on dad duty at the same time. That's how dedicated you are to it, man. That's awesome.
Look, it don't stop. I still do it. Like, look, wherever I'm at, they there too. So, that's what it is, man. Find a way, not an excuse. And life has to go on. So, I got to make things work out.
Other than the coaching and the mentoring the kids, what is post-football like for you as a dad? Got to be hectic, right? 3 of them under 8 years old?
Oh, yeah, they bad, too, but a good bad. So, look, my house is active. They in sports, they in football. I'm their coach. I'm their mentor. I'm their father. So, man, it's constant just chaos going on. But, you know, it's a good thing, man. I wouldn't trade it for anything right now. And I take advantage of this time because, you know, playing in Canada, you're away for 6 months, then you come back for 6 months. But to have every day you waking up, you're like, man, I missed the game. But having your family right there means a lot.
Yeah, that's a good segue back into the old days. You're playing back in Canada. So May 19th, 2009. That's where I'm reading when you signed with the BC Lions. When you think about that, what's the first thoughts that come to mind when you first signed with the Lions?
It go back to I had to get a passport, and they was like, I'm headed to Vancouver. I'm like, where that's at? Abbotsford. At Richmond, it was the Bible College.
Columbia Bible College, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember getting off the plane, and it was like 100 kilometers or something. I'm like, the speed limit 100 miles per hour? What they do in this country? But that was the first thing went through my head was like, hey, I'm headed to Canada, because as soon as I walked across the stage, my mom gave me an envelope, and it was a contract to show up to the BC Lions for training camp.
Did you know much about the talent up in the CFL, or when did you kind of realize, you know, the guys that got out here?
I didn't understand the CFL till I got here, and I came up under. Wally was my head coach, but I remember having Jock Chapdelaine was my offensive coordinator, and I remember my second year. So I was here 09 and 10 watching film, and I didn't even realize it was 12 guys on the field. I didn't know that till my second year of playing, and I was out here killing it.
What about with the goalposts? Is always something too.
Yeah, look, it was crazy, but nah, it's the rules, man, that make this game so unique. But at the end of the day, football is football. But the rules they have, man, is what makes the game special.
Of course.
Tell you what, I interviewed this guy 2009 in the cafeteria. I was working at a different radio station at the time. It's like, yeah, this Arceneaux guy, he looks good out there. I'll never forget it. Yeah, like I said, in the cafeteria, the cookies there were good. I do remember. It's funny what you remember. Yeah. But you got one of those high jersey numbers in your first camp because you were one of those guys that they were expecting maybe wouldn't be there. Go through that process until going through that with number 74, I think, and then showing out in the first preseason game in Calgary, I think it was.
Yeah, man. It was Roy and them guys at the time. I was one of them guys.
Roy Shivers, yeah.
They figure I suck, so they gave me number 74, meaning they going to cut you anyway. You're not going to make it out of camp. But, man, it was just a blessing because when you look back at it, my guy, Brian Burnham, was number 74. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, hey, this 74 is a good number, man. But you come into camp and being an American, you know that's an offensive lineman number. So it's kind of disrespectful. But my thing is, I don't care what number on this jersey. I'm finna show y'all I'm gonna make this team, regardless of what number is on there.
That's always one of my favorite storylines of training camp because we talked about it a lot. 2023 with Aiden Eberhardt wearing number 77, and immediately, pretty much day in, day out, you're like, whoa, who is this guy that wearing 77? And now he's rocking the 19 all swagged out. But a guy that was back there in 2009, Buck Pierce, quarterback of the BC Lions, now obviously the head coach. What are your memories of Buck back then? And are you surprised to see him as a head coach now? Or
man, look, I was just saying, like, I remember opening up, I think we had Sass, man, and him throwing me that out route and catching the Crow Braves. He would know what that play is through shot offense. But nah, Buck always been a solid guy. And I was able to have him, Jarius Jackson, the doggone Casey Printers, then you got the Travis Lulays. But I knew when Buck went to Winnipeg, got into coaching, and I'm like, you know what, he gonna be a head coach someday. And it's like, hey, he gonna be an OC. But I think, man, he paid his dues, he worked his way up, and you can't do nothing but be happy for a guy like Buck, man, because he's always been about business, always minded his business, and just took care of business.
Yeah, have you kept in touch with him at all, or sent him a message when you found out?
Man, you know what? If I seen Buck on game days when I played, we was talk, but we never just kept in touch like how I would keep in touch with the Travis, man. How the girls, how the family. Because me and Buck had like a football relationship. That was my quarterback. And on my way in, he was on his way out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, First and Now, presented in part by Hullo Ferries, proud island transportation partner of the BC Lions. Go easy, go Hullo. We're going to go down memory lane even more here in the next segment. Some of your big catches, your thoughts on the BC Lions today. And we might have you stick around for a little trivia at the end, too. Is that the plan, Nicky?
Yeah.
okay.
Manny's a big favorite. I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
All right. That's coming up more with Emmanuel Arceneaux, a special guest on First and Now on 730 CKNW.
Fire up the engines. Saturday, August 16th, the BC Lions face the Montreal Alouettes at 4 p.m. for the Show and Shine game. Roll into the Plaza of Nations for the biggest backyard party ever, featuring over 200 classic and exotic cars. Get there early. The most legendary gate giveaway is waiting. A custom BC Lions diecast car. All the action starting at just $19. Visit bclions.com and...
You're listening to more of First and Now, presented by Coors Light. Once again, here are Nick Kowalski, Bob Marjanovic, and Matt Baker.
First and Now, the official BC Lions podcast and radio show. Honored as always to be here on 730 CKNW. It is a presentation of World Vision Canada. Boston Pizza, Central City, great spot. Yash and the staff doing it all here. Some good eats, some good beverages, and tell you what, a great spot to watch the game. And we walk in here, we saw the replay of our Hamilton game, and it's like, there you go, perfect. A good pregame spot if you're heading to the game on Saturday. In our next segment, we'll talk to Duane Vienneau, president of the BC Lions, about the Show and Shine, what to expect on what should be an exciting tailgate party, backyard atmosphere with Montreal in town. You will not want to miss this one, our first annual Show and Shine game. But Emmanuel Arceneaux here for a few more minutes. We got some trivia coming up, which we're always excited about. Nick Kowalski's world-famous trivia to end this segment. But we're going to continue going down memory lane, talking about a player here who showed up number 74 in 2009 training camp, and is now all of a sudden third on the BC Lions all-time receiving list, 8,169 receiving yards. Manny, 2010, your second year. Bit of an up-and-down year. Remember, you mentioned Casey Printers. He got cut. Travis Lulay became the starter full-time. You had an amazing play, a Hail Mary catch from Travis to end regulation, to force overtime in that Western Semi game. Unfortunately, the team lost on a Jason Claremont catch. But what do you remember most about that big play?
Man, I remember like it was yesterday. The fans was crazy out there in Mosaic on the left side. Travis buying time, and he threw a go ball. And it was with me. We had O'Neal, the other receiver at the time, and I just remember going up for the ball and was like, if he throw this, I'm going to go get it. And I think that catch is the reason I signed to the Minnesota Vikings and had my NFL opportunity. That catch kind of sealed the deal for me, for somebody to take a chance on me. But nah, that's a moment, man. That's like a once-in-a-lifetime. You play video games. You see Hail Marys in movies. But to be in one, man, it was magnificent. And to be in Regina and not hear a sound in that stadium, you could hear a pin drop. That's how quiet it was. Like, I didn't even know how to celebrate because I didn't know what happened. I'm like, it's quiet. Like, the ground was shaking, fans going crazy. But nah, that catch, man, was a super highlight of my career.
Yeah, still unbelievable to this day. And I remember there was talk. Was Wally contemplating going for 2 for the win? Do you remember any of that? Was that talked about?
Man, I couldn't tell you. I just remember making that catch thinking we had an opportunity to go and win this game.
Once you returned back to the Lions in 2013, your receiving yards numbers, they went up every single year. So you're obviously getting into the prime of your career, kind of the 2015, 2016 range. What made it, I guess easier is the word, for you to kind of dominate the game then?
Yeah, the thing is, once the blueprint is out on you, you got to find ways to win and still be that guy. And you had made a comment earlier about McGinnis where people say, hey, man, after he got this contract, he's not producing. Well, look, people know about you now. They're going to lean coverage your way. They're going to take you out of the game. So what do you expect? But now when you just a complimentary guy, you get all the yards, you go off. But it's how good are you once the blueprint is out? And the blueprint was out on me for the longest. But what people don't know is I didn't warm up till after Labor Day because I was like the 6th O-lineman in Bomber Pro blocking. So when the leaves changed colors, that's when the Manny Show came out.
I was making a joke earlier, too. I was looking around in the crowd, and I don't see Damon Washington in attendance tonight. Is that one? For those who don't know, there's an iconic play where you make a catch over the middle, and then Damon Washington, a Winnipeg DB, comes up to you, and it's pretty much like the Derrick Henry equivalent where you throw a guy off of you. Is that one of the greatest plays you've probably ever made?
Yeah, I had a couple of those, but he was chirping that night, talking crazy, so it felt good to actually get him. But the stiff arm was my go-to, man. I played the game physical, violent, but made it entertaining for the fans, and that's what it really was all about. How can we have a good time but also win football games? And when you hear Manny's show, everything was strictly for the fans, from celebrations to pregame, after game. This was my spot. Post games, you would always see me with fans in the community with kids, because at the end of the day, man, that's what it's about. And can we get folks in those seats to be excited about the brand of BC Lions football?
So when you look back to BC Place, what are your top memories there?
Man, when seeing my face on a big jumbotron with the roof wide open, or just playing against Montreal, and I had that hat trick, 3 touchdowns. We had Kevin Glenn that year. My finger was broke, actually. That was a good one out there at BC Place, too.
Yeah, you had a game winner against Saskatchewan at BC Place in 15.
Yeah, on the right.
That was the one we heard in the previous segment. Yeah, that was right. Yeah.
Yeah, on the right side, cover 0, man. Travis bought time and got me the ball. Went crazy. I still got that picture because when I threw the ball in the stands, Lula's wife caught it, and I think it was her birthday or something. Yeah, Kim caught the ball, and they got a picture of that one when I threw it up there. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy to think. And talking about Travis, we've talked about obviously the chemistry you established with him, these big catches, and the team makes the transition to Jonathan Jennings for a time later in 2015, but 2016 was your best year production-wise, 1,566 yards. What was it like establishing that chemistry with Jonathan Jennings, who, of course, had a heck of a season there?
They just finally decided to start throwing me the football.
Before Labor Day.
But look, man, it was awesome because you got to know, man, sharing the locker room or the meeting room with Travis and a guy that prepares how he prepares, it's good to have your own identity and to be a quarterback and not have to try to be somebody else. And to see Jennings gain that confidence, man, was outstanding. And by me being one of his go-to guys, it's just a relationship because, quarterbacks struggle. You can't win every game, but knowing that he would throw me the ball whether I was open or not, man, took a lot of trust. And we still keep in touch to this day, me and Jennings.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we talked about the reason you're up here doing your dry land training, wearing your jersey here. Love this. Manny Arceneaux with us on First and Now for a few more minutes. But obviously you still watch the games. What's your read on this current Lions team? A bit of an up and down start to the season, but the potential is clearly there.
Yeah, man, it's all about how you finish. And at the end of the day, you got to heat up at the right time. You start winning games on the back end, nobody's going to remember the first 8 or 9. And I found that out. But the biggest thing is the support y'all have from the community, these fans, the media team, the things that everybody doing. that's first class. And I look back, man, that's the one thing that catch my eye is like this content that's coming out, man. People are engaged. People talking about it. Folks that's back in Texas look up the BC Lions and, hey, Manny, that's the team you played for, right? And it's like people are engaged about the game, but y'all being able to connect to fans from age 5 to 95, like, they're excited about BC Lions ball. And I always said, man, if you can get kids engaged, everything's going to take off. So you got families that want to watch BC Lions football, and that's huge.
Well said, yeah.
Very well said. Well, let's get into trivia to close this out, shall we?
Okay,
Shall
it's
we?
that
All
time.
right, so for those radio listeners and podcast listeners,
Pressure's on here, yeah.
We have Baker and Manny. They're going to be both participating because this trivia is all about Emmanuel Arceneaux's CFL career. And you guys have a Sharpie and paper in front of you. So I'm going to ask you a question. We're doing this Price is Right style, but you can go over. So just put out a number for what you think is accurate. So first question, how many yards receiving did Manny have in his rookie season? Manny might know
he knows.
He might know this by heart.
How you know I know?
You look pretty confident. What'd you put, Manny?
858.
What did you put?
I put 538.
Manny has this bang on. He had 858 yards.
See? I told you, this is his show.
Yeah, he's a heavy favorite here. All right, 1,000-yard receiving seasons. How many of them did you have in your career?
Ooh,
All right, Manny's got 4. Baker's got 3. The correct answer is 4.
Oh!
Manny's 2-0.
I just looked up your stats today, too. I must be getting...
Well, one question I had was the most receiving yards in a season, but that was spoiled by Baker.
1566 in 2016. Give me a point.
That went wrong, too.
Would you have known that by heart?
1566?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Okay. How about this? How many yards was your longest career reception in the CFL?
That was against Saskatchewan at home. Caught the go ball on the side. Ooh,
is that one we just talked about, or not?
No, it wasn't.
Nah. They threw it up like a jump ball. It was against Tristan Jackson. He was with Sass at the time. That was I don't know, but I'm gonna say that.
Wherever Jordan's at, we got to do beat Manny next game, not beat Bakes. Because my next question was going to be, do you remember this play? You just literally described it because I watched it today. It was in. So what do you got for yards, Manny?
I put 75. Was it 72?
I put 73.
It was 82. So Manny's
my God!
But yeah, it was a goal ball to the right, and you ran around. You ran across the whole field to the left
came
and
across.
scored. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. How about this one? This one's a pretty random one, but I dug it up myself. Career receiving yards against the Montreal Alouettes. So you played 14 games against the Alouettes. And then this is just topical because we're playing the Alouettes on Saturday. So how many career receiving yards against the Montreal Alouettes?
Man, I used to kill Chip
Including playoffs? Including playoffs or
Billy
no?
Parker.
No playoffs because
There's a couple Eastern semifinals.
regular season.
Okay, 14 times?
Yeah. Why'd they have Chip Cox on you? Wasn't he like 5'10", 190?
Man, look. What number you picked?
I put 1288.
I don't know.
1,000. Okay, so Manny still wins. The correct answer is 772.
I knew it was something right there.
You had that. You talked about it earlier. There was that one game where it was 3 touchdowns, 135
Yeah, man, that was
yards.
BC Place. Yeah, they had the dome open, the roof open. It was crazy.
I got to get 1 point before we're done.
Well, I got a curveball here. How many career passing yards did you have, Manny Arceneaux? Passing yards.
Throwing. I threw one to Gore, that reverse when I got hit against
but
Hamilton.
How many yards was it?
Was that his only pass?
I don't know. Marco dropped one. That was an easy
Marco
catch.
dropped one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Manny has 15. Baker has 21. The correct answer was a 17-yard touchdown pass.
Oh.
I still got it.
He still got it.
You remember the play, though? It's the Sean Gore?
Yeah, man. Going this way on the
That's
field.
pretty good, yeah.
Off the reverse, yeah.
All right. How many career CFL games did Manny Arceneaux play? Total games played.
Oh, total games played. I did.
You might get this one bang on, too, the way you're talking.
This is the one you might get. If you said that number, I'm going to say that.
All right, so you guys, it's way over, actually. Baker has 109. Was that 111 or
111?
Oh, Price is right at him. It's 167.
That's what it was, 160. Okay,
because
I beat you again.
Well,
He beat me again, yeah. Well,
Well, I got.
Are you going by the player register, Nick? You got to go by the player register, right?
Well,
You're going to find every reason
The
to
CFO
try to get 1 point.
Okay,
CFO stats page don't work, so I had to go to other resources here. So how many? Here's a fun one. How many catches did you have in your career?
I just looked at this about 4 or 5 months. If I played 167 games, you might have that one.
There you go, Baker. 167.
That was 167. Yeah. How many catches did he have?
Yeah, in his career.
Don't try to look at my number.
No.
Wrong.
I didn't
remember
even
how many
see it.
touchdowns I had, yards, catches.
All right, Baker is on the board. So the correct answer is 645.
Okay.
Baker wrote 581. Man,
And I went 544.
You're selling yourself short.
Man, he got me. I'm nervous.
All right, here's the last question, though, so Baker can end on a hot note. How many times did Manny get fined for mimicking putting with a corner post?
Oh, that was at BC Place. With
One?
One is the correct answer.
Yeah.
So do you remember that celebration?
I remember that celebration on the end zone on this side where the players come through. That's where I was at when I did it. I remember that one.
I don't know.
I remember that.
I like how the guys have fun now. So I don't like that you got fined for that one. But
Yeah, memory pretty good. Had ACLs, not head injuries, so I remember everything.
yeah, that was an impressive performance. So I think that's like a 6-1 win, 6-1 win.
Yeah, that was this guy back here in style. I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, 9,277 career yards, 58 touchdowns, pretty impressive. And then you tacked on almost 1,000 more with Edmonton and Saskatchewan at the end, which we never really touched on yet. But
Right.
was it weird? Was it weird playing for the Green Guys in 2019?
It was, and it was awesome at the same time. Just the experience, man. Like it's different, but it's one of those ones. If you can have the opportunity, that's where you can go out. But now, I don't think no place was better than BC. And this was like my second home. It created the Manny Show. And like I say, man, we'll always have love for this province, this community, this team, and even the new faces that's part of what they building. The fans from back then to the new fans now. It's about y'all. So I always love BC.
Well said. Round of applause for Manny Arceneaux.
Appreciate y'all.
BC Lions legend, trivia king. He does it all. Good job.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll wrap it up in a few minutes. Duane Vienneau going to stop by here. It's First and Now, live on location at Boston Pizza, Central City.
You're listening to more of First and Now, presented by Coors Light. Once again, here are Nick Kowalski, Bob Marjanovic, and Matt Baker.
First and Now, a presentation of World Vision Canada. Join us October 5th, the World Vision Walk for Water. Chance to raise some money for a great cause and to potentially win a trip for two with the team in 2026. Who knows? Could sit next to Nick Kowalski on a flight.
Oh, I heard.
Wouldn't that be a dream?
You were complaining that you had to sit with me in Hamilton.
I was?
I heard that. You were like, "Oh, I don't get my own row. I got to sit beside you."
No, come on.
We had a lot of fun on the plane ride home.
We did.
How couldn't we, though, right?
Yeah, if I'm going to sit next to anyone, it's the partner in crime here. We're live from Boston Pizza, Central City. Yash and the crew doing a great job. Plenty of good pizzas. I had the square pizza, the loaded pepperoni. Always good. Show and Shine. We're talking Show and Shine. Lions Alouettes. Saturday, 11 a.m. Backyard party at Plaza Nations. Duane Vienneau, the Lions president, is stopping by. Duane, how are you, first and foremost?
Very good, Bakes. How are you? Hey, Nick.
You got any Duane trivia that you want to stump me with now, or what?
I think we'll save that one for another episode. One at a time.
Yeah, you don't lose very often.
I know that's a rarity, but
It was fun. It was fun to see, Manny.
Oh yeah, Manny's clutch, not just on the field, but when it comes to the statistical minutia. First annual Show and Shine. Let's go back. A lot of time in the off season is spent meeting with game day ticketing partnerships on ways you can kind of tinker with some things. And what do you remember about how this game theme came about?
It all started with the Driven Project. So we've been doing the Driven Project for a couple years now, and might as well start off by talking about it. It's basically it's supercar therapy is how they describe it. So it's, Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all these really cool cars. Kevin Gordon, who runs the Driven Project, it's a bit like Make-A-Wish. So these kids are it's sort of their dream to have this ride in these cars, and they start the day off at Stanley Park. They go around, Vancouver. They rev their engines. They make a big deal about it, and then they would show up at Terry Fox Plaza, and our owner Amar Doman would greet them, and the cheerleaders would greet them, and it was just a very cool experience. And the kids' eyes were just beaming and so excited, and come in and do things at the game. So that's really where it took off, where we thought, let's see if we can build this bigger and better around, the car theme, if you will. And Show and Shine was developed, and Carolyn Cody, we all call her Cody.
Yep.
She, her son likes to go and see cars on the weekends.
Yeah.
And so it's not just for, adults. Kids like cars, and they like to go see cars, and so that's really what it's all started out to be.
And you got to get there early on Saturday, because 7,500 fans are receiving limited edition Hot Wheels style BC Lions die-cast cars at the gate. And I think you saw last week, Jonah Tavai, Thibaut Dubai, they're big fans already. They were playing with them at our facility. But
those cars are cool.
Very cool.
They're very cool. So the first 7,500 through the doors get these cars, but you have to be there earlier, because the Show and Shine starts at 11 o'clock down, and it's in a new location too, which is sort of cool. All of our activations for the last few years have always been on Terry Fox Plaza. This is at the Plaza of Nations, and the events got so big that we have to put it somewhere else, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be a very cool event.
And from a big picture kind of thing too, with the Terry Fox Plaza backyard parties. We're 3-4 years down into these now, right? Is this kind of what you envisioned, you and Amar, once you guys first started, having these backyard parties?
100%. Every game, there's a huge crowd out there doing something. If it's the watermelon smash or the concert kickoffs or whatever it is, we have fans all the time. I try to be Dice knows I'm out there all the time. I talk to the fans, and they say to me, I don't even have to go into the building. I've already had a great time, and that's what we want to do. We want everyone to have fun, and no matter what happens on the field, fans, young and old, have a good time, and then get into that building and cheer very loud for the Lions.
It was your predecessor, Rick Lawlisher, who's been at this a while, still at it. He said to me one time, I'll never forget, he says, in my view, a fan's game day experience starts from the moment they leave their door, whether that's listening to the pregame show online and then doing the tailgate. How much do you buy into that philosophy?
100%. It doesn't matter where you go, from parking to whatever transportation it is, to walking through the front door, getting that first beverage, sitting in your seats all throughout the entire game, and then how you leave the big game as well. So it's very important for us. Thanks for Manny for shouting out to our social team, because it's true. And, I'm not just saying this because you guys are here, but we get compliments all the time about how well our social team does, and our game day, our game day team, and just everything that we're doing to try to educate our fans and entertain our fans, and just have a good time. We try to do a different game theme every game, and we just really want people to come and say, you know what, it's exciting. This one's this one, this one's this one, and it's just something we build on every day.
All right, quick Coles notes before we let you go here, as we're up against it. Over 100 classic cars, luxury cars on hand. Summer tunes will be cranking. Note the location, Plaza of Nations. We need more room for this, so moving across the street, we are this backyard party on Saturday. 525 Coors Light and White Claw beverages for those 19 and over, of course. And there'll be all kinds of food options, bouncy castles for the kids. My daughter loves the bouncy castles.
P&E.
Oh, yes, of course. All game tickets get free weekday admission to the P&E, a great Vancouver tradition. I'm going to go to the P&E myself, I think, during our bye week in a couple of weeks. Lots going on. Great summer game. And
also the kids can come and run on the field after the game.
Oh, yes.
Doing that as well. So it's a big game for kids at young and old at heart, if you will.
So what was your favorite amusement park ride?
Oh boy, I'm not a big ride guy, but I'm going to say the ships. Those ships that go up and down. But
Yep.
I don't like them anymore.
There was
The old P&E wooden roller coaster. I still love it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's an awesome one too. And I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm in the loop on this. But our social team has a pretty cool promotional piece coming up. I think later this week to promote the fact that you get your free weekday admission for the PNE. So stay on the lookout for that on the BC Lions socials.
All right. Thank you, Duane.
Thank you very
Always
much,
appreciate
guys.
it. Yes.
What did you need?
And someone got a bingo back there. Anyway, we thank everyone.
Game-winning drive.
Game-winning drive?
Yeah.
What's that? What do you
Bingo.
Oh, bingo. There we go. Game-winning drive. There, we got Chris Keene a bingo. All right, we're going to wrap things up here. Thanks to the staff at Boston Pizza Central City. Thanks to all the great fans for showing up as always. Manny Arceneaux, the guest of honor tonight. Lions Alouettes right here on 7:30 CKNW pregame 3 on Saturday. We'll talk next week. All right, it's that time. A bonus segment for the podcast listeners. One of the highlights of our week, we bring in Cam Tucker from BCLC, PlayNow.com. Between the lines, and this guy's got a little bounce in his step, Cam does.
Yeah. Chest is out right now. Yeah, we're 2-0 the last 2 weeks here.
Yeah, you hit the boost each of the last 2 weeks after a bit of a slow start to the campaign. So
yeah, we had some difficult results early, but we've got it back on track. And I know last week, Nathan Rourke had a really good game, hit his passing milestones, and then the Lions over 27.5 total points, team total points. That hit as well. So we're rolling right now. We're 2-0 in the last 2 weeks here. Let's keep it going.
I was going to add, Cam. So were you doing like somersaults when James Butler caught that touchdown? Because I know you needed 2 passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of putting a little wager down on some CFL football is that last second you get that hit.
Well, it was funny because I was listening to the game in my car. I was driving it, so. Nathan Rourke throws up the touchdown pass to James Butler, and I just did a little fist pump in the car, and I'm like, good, we've won some money here. So, it's always exciting. I mean, at BCLC and with PlayNow, we always tell people to, bet responsibly, use their game sense, and make sure that they're betting for fun. It is, like we've said, just a little bit of extra skin in the game. It's just kind of that cherry on top. And, as fun and exciting as it is, we do also want to urge that people play responsibly. But that said, when a bet does hit, it is quite exciting. And, I've been known to level off a few fist pumps when they do hit.
All right, let's create some more for this one on Saturday. Lions opening as a 4.5-point favorite at home to the Alouettes. It's gone back and forth between 4.5, minus 200 on the money line. So, pretty big favorites. Is that a product of maybe just how banged up Montreal is right now? What's going on?
Yeah, that was my first impression, was looking at the quarterback situation and the fact that they're 2-4 in their last 6 games. Right now, Montreal's really struggling. McLeod Bethel Thompson got benched last week, and in comes Caleb Evans, and so we'll see how that situation at quarterback plays out for the Alouettes throughout the week. But yeah, I think that's more about what's happening in Montreal. Now, that said, the BC Lions have looked really good, especially on offense the last couple of weeks. Nathan Rourke has that passing game humming. He was over 400 yards passing against Hamilton. So I do think that it's based on Montreal. They're really struggling right now, especially offensively. But, for the Lions, offensively, the Lions have looked really good the past few games. And I think that if you're looking at these two teams equally right now, you have to give the edge to the Lions, especially the way that they're moving the ball.
And so, Cam, you talked about Nathan Rourke there. He has been over 325 passing yards in 4 of his last 5 starts. Pretty remarkable stuff from one of the front runners now, I think, for MOP again. But what are you seeing from Nathan Rourke lately? And what does the projections even look like for his player props this week?
Well, it's funny because a little bit of breaking news on the segment. I was looking at my phone just before I walked up here. And we did release the Nathan Rourke player props for the game, and his total passing yards was set at 330.5 yards. So that's pretty high. We've seen it start to go up higher and higher as the weeks go on. Like you said, he's hit 325-plus pass yards. I think it's like 5 out of 7 games this season. So he's been pretty remarkable passing the ball. They're slinging it right now offensively. And, when we're looking at our odds boost special for this week, we had Nathan Rourke, I think, at 275 plus passing yards, and I think that's a little bit too low now, so we've got to up the bar a little bit. We're probably looking at a boost of Nathan Rourke, around 300 to 325 plus passing yards, and then we'll go from there. The guys right now are in the lab cooking up this odds boost for Saturday, but Nathan Rourke for sure is he's going to be the focal point of that bet.
Yeah, just to add, no pressure at the end because you're 2-0 in the last 2 weeks, like we alluded off the top. But what other things are you looking at right now for the Week 11 boost here?
Yeah, so right now another player that's really impressed me is James Butler in this run game. Like, he's been involved not just rushing the football, but you look at the passing game too. I think he had 55 receiving yards against Montreal. 2 games prior to that, he went back-to-back 35 receiving yards. So not only is he rushing the ball effectively with a couple of 100-plus rush yard games in there as well, but now he's involved in the pass game as well. So we've looked at James Butler to score a touchdown in this game. He's got, I believe it's 4 touchdowns now in his last 2 games. And then we're going to look at the Lions, and what I've recommended to the guys that do our product and our odds boost is we look at the Lions to win this game by 3 points or more. So we're actually taking 1.5 points off of the point spread, and we'll see what they come back with on that.
Yeah, it makes it easier to hit that number, right? And the beauty with James Butler scoring is it doesn't have to be a rushing touchdown or a receiving touchdown. It can be anything.
Could be anything. Yeah. But yeah, it's exciting. It's nice to get a couple of winning bets here, and I think that the Lions have looked really good the last 2 weeks. So this is a big opportunity going into that game. Good chance to get back to 500. And, I think if you could get back to 500 in this game, and then you look at, Labor Day's coming up, Canadian Thanksgiving is coming up, these are important milestones in the calendar. And if you're 500 or maybe above 500 going into Labor Day, that's huge. You can kind of forget the up and downs of the first part of the season.
Well said. Good luck keeping your streak alive. BCLC, PlayNow.com, all kinds of brilliant prop bets, and not just for the Lions and the Alouettes. A couple of good games this week. You've got Hamilton and Saskatchewan. Big one. Winnipeg is facing Ottawa. That'll be on Friday night. So, we talked about it. Getting into the nitty-gritty here. And we appreciate you stopping by as always. Cam Tucker, a little between the lines on First and Now. We'll talk next week.
Thanks, boys.
Yep.